Hi and welcome to our next video. In this video we look for a famous signpost, visit the First and Last Refreshment House in England, we find the famous signpost, check out some stunning views, see some local merchandise, play some golf and see some animals. Welcome to Land's End. Well, hello and welcome to what is a very sunny and, as you can tell, slightly breezy Land's End today. Whilst we are staying in Rock, we decided it was the perfect opportunity to visit this world-renowned place, of which the well-known Land's End signpost is at the most southwesterly tip of England and some 874 miles away from the most northeasterly tip of John O'Groats, way up in Scotland. It's taken just under a 2-hour drive to get here, even from Rock, which is slightly better than an almost 6-hour drive straight from our home in the West Midlands. Once you have walked from the car park through the Land's End main entrance and past the shops area, it doesn't take long to come across the sign. Sadly, you can't just walk right up to it and take a picture of yourselves with it during the day. You need to pay £10.99 for the privilege. However, you can still get close enough to take a picture of the sign. There is a constant queue of people waiting to pay to have their pictures taken with the sign, so perhaps it's not too bad of a price, especially if you've travelled from another country to see it. If you didn't want to pay, you could also wait around long enough or arrive when the staff have finished for the day, at which point there is nothing stopping you from taking a free photo. There are paths along the coast up to the First and Last house not far away, which you'll see in a few moments. Views along here are absolutely amazing, especially on a day like today. Occasionally you are supposed to be able to see dolphins, porpoises, basking sharks and grey seals, but we didn't see anything unfortunately. There are some telescopes around the site and in the RSPB centre, which you'll see where this is very shortly. Here's a list of what sea life you may see in the area. mentioned a few moments ago, the RSPB Centre. The board here showing what bird life should be in the area. Okay, we're now going to continue along the coastal path to the first and last house. Once we enter the first and last house, I'll give you a little bit of history about the building. We've now reached the first and last house, which we'll have a look inside in a couple of moments, but before that we can have a better view of the sea here, which is far and wide around the coast. What an amazing view from here. There's also a telescope here if you wanted to try and spot some sea or bird life out there. Just in case you didn't know, there's some of these around, health and safety and all that. Okay, so let's have a little look in the first and last house. Now, as we go in, I will say that on the side of the building it does mention refreshment, so by this you might assume it to be some sort of public house, which it has never been. This does cause confusion, as there is the First and Last Inn, which is a public house about 1 mile up the road in the village of Sennen, but the history of this building is that it was built between 1830 to 1860 for a woman named Gracie Thomas, who used it as a cottage to sell tea and refreshments and stamped granite souvenirs to travellers. And as you can see today, it still sells souvenirs and refreshments just as it did back then. There's all sorts of Land's End souvenirs you can buy in here. A little bit of history about the building on the wall here. Okay, we go back out now and head back towards the signpost. Yeah. This ice cream shop was closed, but looks to be quite expensive for ice cream. so I think we'd give it a miss anyway. But let us know in the comments if you think it's reasonable. Just a bit of history about the signpost while we're walking along here. It was built in the 1950s by a local family business, which was Courtwoods of Penzance, at the very tip of mainland Britain, to give travellers a place to pose. For a fee, the family business offered to customise the mileage pointed towards the visitor's hometown. After 66 years, this contract ended in December 2023, and a new signpost was installed in early 2024. See, there's a few people in the queue for the sign. I think we'll give this a miss for today, but shows how popular it is with the tourists. To the courtyard area, and it seems not everything is open, which is strange for July. There are other shops open, although these are mostly other souvenir shops. So we decided to have a go at the crazy golf whilst we were here. Not a bad price at £8 per person for 15 holes. You do need to pay for it in the visitor centre, as they can't accept payment in the crazy golf. It is only a few seconds walk to the visitor centre to pay for it. Yeah, you got to do it now, Ellie. Oh, of course, someone had to get a hole in one.
Went right round it. There, can you see? Add 2 points to your scorecard because you lost.
Yeah. Anyway, I lost as usual, but it was still nice to have a go. Okay, so back outside now, and we're going to some more shops for a mooch around. This one's much bigger than the First and Last House, with all sorts of stuff Land's End or Cornish related, even clothing, local food and alcohol made by local breweries. quite a few people in here as well, so as you'd expect, it is popular with the tourists.
We'll go somewhere and buy something else. Come.
They really do have everything in here. Also lots of Land's End branded clothing in here. Plenty of local gin, whiskey, vodka and beer in here. Some sauces and pasta.
She's not friend anymore.
Some local Cornish gin.
Yep, 2 seconds. So you go to the toilet. Just talk to you.
There's also a map here of the site telling you what is where. To be honest, everything seemed easy to find even without the map. Back out to the main entrance now, and you see the car park over there. Now we're going to walk down to Grebe Farm, which is on the site, and see what's down there. Let's go and have a look. So we're just about here. Here's the sign to the farm, just a few more yards to go. Some information here about the farm.
Yeah, it is.
Some llamas over there in the distance. Looks like a lonely goose. Maybe he's just being a bit antisocial with the other geese today. Well, it looks like the farm over there. I'm not sure if you have to pay to get in. Maybe someone could let us know in the comments. Over here is a small pottery and craft shop. I'll have to watch my head going in here, as these buildings aren't really made for tall people. There's definitely lots of handmade stuff in here if you're into handmade items. I take it the goat must have heard there was some special guest from a YouTube channel here and wanted to make an appearance. Over here is another craft workshop, but was a little small and busy at the time to have a proper look around, so we walk back out again.
I did the same. I self-published because also I found out that if you get somebody to publish it for you, they will do it for you.
No. Yeah, yeah.
That's about all we can see of the farm, so we'll now head back onto the coastal path again as we make our way back to the car park. Seems to be a bit of a cove down there, but didn't see any sea life, although maybe too far away to see any, if there was any down there. Some of the steps around the site aren't great if you're not good on your feet, so always worth taking your time. sure what animals were supposed to be in this field, so it looks a bit overgrown. As we go up these steps, the view gets nicer the higher up we go. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed this video tour of Land's End. Let us know in the comments if you've been here, and if so, let us know what you thought of it. But for now, that's all for this video. As always, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it is extremely appreciated. Also feel free to check out our other videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.